everyone. Welcome to the RavenRabbit Wellness Studio podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Jackie Cope, and I'm here to talk to you about all things life, healing, and happiness with the spiritual indigenous approach. Enjoy the episode. Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Jackie Cope coming to you from RavenRabbit Wellness Studio here in Anza, California. I need to change my intro. I have some new exciting news. I am actually now Dr. Reverend Jackie Cope, and I'm very excited about that news. So I thought I would dedicate episode 6 to my path to metaphysics. So before we begin, I would like to start with our invocation. Dear Creator, please make me a pure, incorruptible channel of loving, healing, divine presence, and provide with me all the protection, guidance, and wisdom I need with all the ancestors around me. And so it is. So this episode is about my path to metaphysics, and this is kind of like that moon story I talked about a few last episode, and we all have unique ways of coming to where we're at in our paths and in our journey. So I'd like to share my metaphysics story, and I would love to hear, or if you can share in the comments, your path to metaphysics, or if you've been thinking about it. As I was reflecting for this episode, I was trying to pinpoint the moment I knew metaphysics was the answer for me. And I can't remember an exact moment where it happened. It's really blurry for me. I've shared a little bit about my path and how I've gotten to here at the podcast and with RavenRabbit, but it must have started when I was single and I was looking for something deeper, like I said, and I was looking on the internet for churches and things like that. I'm going to call it divine intervention, like I've talked about in my past episode, but I got drawn to this website, University of Metaphysics, and I was really interested in it. I would go to that website often. I would look at it. I don't even know how I came across it. I don't have an answer. I don't remember when it happened, how I found it. For me, it's just divine intervention, and it's beautiful, and I ended up exactly where I was supposed to be. So I looked at that for a very long time. I was really interested in their studies. My doctorate's specifically in curriculum and instruction, so I'm really particular about what curriculum's being used and how it's being instructed. So I really looked heavily into that, and I really liked how the school had everything laid out. I liked, they had some free things for you to listen to and engage with, and I really liked the teachings of Dr. Masters, and they were really wonderful. And I liked how it was laid out, the way the classes were going to be done, and so it sounded like a really good next step for me. I wasn't sure how to bring it up with my family. I luckily was met with a lot of gracious acceptance when I finally spoke up about wanting to do it, and my mom even offered to help pay for it, so that was really nice of her and supportive, because she just knew I had found the thing that I really wanted to do. And my fiance encouraged me to take the classes. So once I signed up, I just dove into that world. And that was December last year. So that was about 7-8 months ago. And it's been an amazing ride, learning all of the metaphysics teachings and becoming a minister of metaphysics. So what made this program sound so intriguing to me? What made me actually commit and sign up? What I liked from what I gathered from the website to begin with was this higher connection to yourself and building the life that you've always dreamed of and getting out of your own way. Those were all things I really struggled with and wanted personal guidance in. So all of this came from a very personal standpoint. I did my university studies in metaphysics to have a happier life personally for me. And what came out of it was this wanting to share with everybody else. It just aligned. I had already been starting RavenRabbit for a while at that point, and I knew once I was going through my studies that my intention I had set in RavenRabbit, which was a spiritual holistic approach to living, I knew that spiritual component was then going to be met. So I put that out in the universe. Probably when I was making my business plan for RavenRabbit, I spoke that out, that in my intentions and in my vision for RavenRabbit was going to be this spiritual approach. And so I needed some really deep spiritual teachings to do that. I spoke that out to the universe, and the universe delivered by sending me to this website that I just could not resist. I was so intrigued. So on the website, they actually give you some little excerpts of the material you're going to be covering, and they at least gave you an overview of the table of contents so you could see every module you would be studying if you signed up. And all of the module topics were fascinating to me. They were something that I really wanted to learn and get into. I knew it was going to make my life more fulfilling and my business have more direction. So the beginning of the Metaphysics program starts with practical mysticism and learning about metaphysics and attracting and maintaining prosperity all around you. And it just really interested me, and when you first start reading that chapter, just shifts start happening in your life that aren't explainable in a normal sense. Like the only way that those shifts are happening is because you're on this new spiritual path and you are being conscious and intentional with everything that you're doing and surrounding yourself with. So this program I've mentioned before really helped me think about what I was surrounding myself with, what kind of music I was listening to, what kind of shows I've been watching, who I've been hanging out with, all of these things attributed to this whole first section about maintaining and attracting prosperity. The other section that really caught my eye at the time was establishing mystical self-direction and spiritual mind magnetism. All of those things have really helped me change my work field around me and attract what I want in my life. And not even just what I want, I might not even know I want it. I just want to attract the right things, known and unknown to me, consciously and subconsciously to me. So this program really changed the trajectory of how I was living every day. The biggest life-changing section for me was in volume 2 of my metaphysics studies. That's where a lot of the hard work I'd been avoiding got done. It gets into establishing positive new patterns in your life, being actively involved in your visualizations, the power of meditation, and metaphysical laws for success. So section 2 for me really started to change my daily life and my perspective. And this is not something I know a lot, but there's something I've heard a friend talk about, religious trauma, and it really started to address some of those things, how in religious enterprises we get really bogged down with dogmatic ways of living and being. And so metaphysics separates the dogmatic rules and goes into what you're spiritually being called to do and what is the best service of those for you and those around you. And so I really liked getting out of the four walls of the brick and mortar and making that spiritual connection even deeper. So the whole purpose for all of this for me in metaphysics was getting in touch with God in a deeper level. And the only way I can think to explain this, because my most experience with church is Christianity, is the way I understood being connected was through the Holy Spirit. And so it's a similar thing. That's that higher self you're tapping into when you're trying to connect to the Holy Spirit and the Holy Spirit's moving through you. That's you connecting to your higher self, connecting to Creator and God. So I just liked the mind shift and the perspective change for me helped make it go deeper and be more meaningful for me. So what else I also liked about metaphysics was that it's so accepting to everything else around. You can be your religion and you can be a metaphysic. So that to me is really important too, because ingrained in our cultures and the way we are brought up, it's not always easy to just leave a religion and adopt a new one. But we can find ways, a lot of times we're striving for something deeper and stronger. So what I found that metaphysics did for me was bring me closer to the divine truth and the divine guidance, and that whatever you want to call it, your Holy Spirit, your higher self, it was speaking so much louder and I could actually hear it. And that goes to my chakra too, of the intuitive third eye. Like, it was just radiating. I was getting so much information, and I am still being divinely guided every day. And I am a completely different person than I was 7 months ago because of this program. So I wanted to go back to the comment of you can be a metaphysic and whatever else you are other. So for me, it was really important to find something that validated and accepts indigenous knowledge and indigenous ways of being. So with assimilation, a lot of American Indian religion has been lost. Our native spirituality has been lost through assimilation and colonization, and there's not a lot to go back to. Even though we have the American Indian Religious Freedom Act from the 1970s, for me, there's not a strong Washoe religious organization to go back to. It's being done in homes, it's being done through tribal ways, and we're all trying to rebuild, but I was looking for something really concrete. So these metaphysics studies that I went through as a teacher and being in curriculum instruction gave me the guideway and the path to give me something solid to lean on while I explore my indigenous knowledge and my indigenous ways of being. So there's a lot of healing that goes in with that, and a lot of generational trauma healing that goes into that spiritual, religious aspect of my life and from my culture. So when I was in talks with the people at the school, I was really upfront about my master's I'm working on currently right now with them, about the similarities and the parallels between American Indian religion and metaphysics, because there's so much similarity in the two, because metaphysics comes from ancient culture and goes back to that deep knowledge. And so one thing that I argued in one of my homework assignments was that metaphysics leans more on the Eastern ways of being, and other religions, such as Christianity, they all come from the Western side of the world. And so I argued in my assignment that Native Americans were not either. We're not Eastern, we're not Western. We are from all four directions. And we've always used the intuitive guide of all four directions in equal balanced living. So that's something really beautiful that I've been exploring and I've been writing about in my master's program. And what I loved about my metaphysics program is it is accepting of all the variations of religion and spirituality that are out there. The purpose of the metaphysics is to draw in deeper to that higher self and that intuitive guidance that we all have access to. We can all tap into that beautiful spiritual universe that's all around us and out there. It's within us. It's right with us all the time, waiting to guide us. So for me, what worked for me was going through this program and opening up all of my channels and being receiving to all of the possibility that is around me, all of the healing that's around me, and being guided in a very high and within the light way. So I talked a little bit about the master's program I'm in currently with the metaphysics program. I will be also moving on after that to the doctoral studies, which is one of the major reasons I signed up for this program. I'm going to specifically study spiritual healing with various modalities. And that's something that I've always done, that was passed down to me through cultural learning. So it's going back to that plant medicine that I've talked about before, our stone people, and using the modalities around us in the universe to help us heal spiritually. So I'm really excited to dive into that work when it comes. I've been reading for it. There's a lot of reading that always goes in with school, and metaphysics tends to be a little more traditional with reading actual books, because there's not scholarly articles out there about this type of information. So I've been vetting books, finding some good reads. If anyone has any recommendations for metaphysical healing modalities, I'm very interested in hearing those, because I'm looking for great books to read. I have been reading lots of indigenous spirituality, religious books, and those have been very eye-opening, and it's been great spending time with ancestors and knowledge and just coming back to native ways of being. So if metaphysics has been calling to you, I really hope you start listening to that voice that you're hearing, or if you're seeing the signs, whatever kind of clair you're getting, and I hope you explore that a little bit more and see what the universe is trying to show you or draw you to or open up for you, because it's different for everybody. Our paths definitely cannot be compared, and we all have specific niche things that we have to offer the world and those around us and to ourselves. So if you're thinking about doing metaphysics, you definitely don't need to join a program like I did. There's resources out there for you to learn in an economical way. There's lots of podcasts to listen to, and sometimes there's some good free ebooks out there. But the best teacher you can have in metaphysics is your higher self, and that doesn't cost anything. A lot of my homework with metaphysics surrounded by lots of meditation. That's what I did. So you can only go so fast through the program. You can't just read all the material and answer the questions as quickly as possible and turn it in. You have to, the max amount of units you can do a week is 2, because the point is to read the little chapter. They're not that large, they're very small. Read the little chapter and then really deeply meditate for 7 days or more on what that section is trying to teach. So they say you can do it at up to 2 chapters a week to really fully sit on what you're learning. And so you can do that with any book that you're reading or podcast you're listening to. You can listen to that one thing, read that one thing, and then deeply meditate on that for 7 days. Really be in that moment and in that learning. So I've explained a little bit about what my meditation practice looks like in my past episodes. I explained to you that I have my little quiet meditation space at the end of my bed, and that's where I would do my reflection. I would read my homework and really deeply think about what that was trying to teach me. Then I would meditate. So there's your conscious, you're thinking about it, what am I supposed to learn? Then you go into that deep meditation where it's subconscious, and you are validated or you're guided in another direction. You just open up and let the universe show you what it is you're supposed to learn through that. And so you have to start building that trust with your higher self, and then taking little steps. Every time you hear something that is calling to you, look into that, do it, and see where it goes. And you'll start building a stronger relationship with your third eye intuition. So for me, a lot of my metaphysics journey has been about really strongly relying on my third eye intuition. And so I think it would be appropriate to do a little third eye activation in this episode and do some third eye visualizations so that you can start more deeply connecting with your intuition. Like I said before with this podcast, I do not pre-plan. I do really do that invocation with meaning, and I'm being guided and led. And so this is also me showing my listeners that I'm listening to my ancestors and spirits as we go through this, and I'm being told that a third eye activation really needs to be done for our listeners and maybe just for myself as well, so we can all stay on the path of being connected to our higher self. So I'd like to say some affirmations in our third eye activation. So, invocation. Dear Creator, as we activate our third eye, I ask that you're with my listeners and myself, and that the highest and best is around us at all times. We surround ourselves with the white protection light, and we only accept healed ancestors and positive entities. So some affirmations. I am open and receptive to the wisdom and insights that flow from my third eye. I trust my intuition and guidance. A third eye awakening. With each breath, my third eye awakens and becomes more attuned to higher knowledge and understanding. I can perceive truths that extend beyond the physical realm. My third eye allows me to see with clarity and depth. My intuition is strong and my perceptions are clear. I trust my inner senses to guide me in every situation. I can connect to my higher consciousness. I align my third eye with the universal consciousness. Through it, I connect with higher realms of knowledge and indigenous ways of being and ancestral ways of being. My mind's eye is powerful. The power of my mind's eye grows stronger each day. I can envision and manifest my desires with clarity. So those are some affirmations for your third eye. There's a visualization I'd like to do here to help open up and activate that third eye. So we're going to do a stargazing visualization. So take a few deep breaths. Inhale through the nose and exhale. Imagine yourself standing under a clear night sky. You can feel the crisp air around you. You can smell the smells of trees and nature and soil. You raise your head to look to the sky, and you are now visualizing a bright star directly above your head. This star represents your third eye. You start to see a stream of starlight descending from that star, entering through your crown chakra at the top of your head and gently flowing into your third eye. Feel this light awakening and activating your inner vision. Let that light move through your chakras, all the way through your body, down to your Earth Star chakra. Take a big inhale and exhale. Gently come back to consciousness. I really hope that you'll begin to listen to your third eye much more. and that your intuition will guide you on your path wherever it may lead you. If this podcast helped you out in any way, you got a good story out of it, you enjoyed it, it maybe enlightened your day, please share this podcast on any social media you have. Let your friends know about it, your families know about it. That is the best way to thank a podcaster and small business owner. Share away.